We're with head coach of the Mustang football program, Cory Sauter. Following Mustang's spring practice, school is now done for this 2011-12 academic calendar, coach. And as you mentioned, spring ball is wrapped up. You had the spring game a few weeks ago. You've had your meetings with your student athletes. Let's talk about how the last month and a half has gone in spring ball and capped by the spring game in April.
Well, we had a really productive spring practices this year. We were able to get a lot of reps in, and that was by design. We have a lot of younger players, especially on the defensive side of the ball, that we need to get them up to speed, and the best way to do that is just by learning, and the best way to learn is to get a lot of reps. So we extended our practices. We got much more team related reps during spring ball, and that was good for everybody. And with that, you always got to be conscious of injuries and things, but we came out very good from an injury standpoint, and really only lost one player for next season. So with all things being equal, I think it was a very good spring for us, and one that we can really build from now moving forward going into this summer.
You know, obviously you had very good weather that allowed you to get the practices in. You had a great facility to do it, and then capped by the spring game. And some of the guys that stood out, you know, on the offensive side of the football, you know, a lot of the same names that people are familiar with. You know, Warren Matthews had a very good game, but you know, there was also a lot of new players, as you mentioned, getting reps throughout spring ball, but on both sides of the football that played very well during that game and got to show what they can do.
Yeah, well, you look at spring football. It's a great time for younger players as well as guys that are backups or third string guys to get some reps, ones that normally don't get much at all during the fall. A guy like Will Kirka, our backup tight end, with Cody Condon being out essentially for most of our spring practices, he essentially got almost every single rep during spring football. And he's a guy, a prime example of somebody that just got better and better and better, and he's going to be a guy that we can rely on this year, from a starter or backup role. And so those are just the guys that you just like to see get those reps and develop. Defensively, a lot of linebackers got a lot of reps, and that's just an area we have to get better at. And like I mentioned before, you have to get in there to do it, and before you're actually going to get better. And secondary-wise, with Joe Stupka being out, our younger guys had to pull through with that, and part of that too is leadership. In that position, you've got to be able to get our defense lined up properly and communicate, and that isn't always an easy task, but I know Tate Bunkers has really stepped and emerged to a very good player for us, and is going to be a guy that we're going to have to depend on in 2012.
Well, now the summer months have upon us, and getting ready for fall camp, which opens up in early August. But now, what are the plans for the summer? Obviously, the guys get a chance to heal up, but many of them are staying in the Marshall area, and we'll do a lot of summer workouts preparing for the fall.
Yeah, we have about a third of our players that are going to be right here on campus this summer, and I know probably about 35 guys are going to be here all summer. Probably close to half our team is going to be here during a portion of the summer, so our numbers have been very good that way. Guys have been able to get summer jobs in the area, which have helped them establish the ability to stay here in town. So we definitely appreciate all the local businesses that have helped out our student athletes here over the summer, and that's just part of it. And then obviously with technology now, we're able to watch video via the internet, and so our guys can watch all the cut-ups from spring football as well as start watching opponents for 2012, and I think that's going to be an important piece as well as we move forward, not to forget the mental aspect as well. We always kind of miss out on those.
Yeah, and I also want to remind people that there's also some summer camps that your program puts on as well.
Right, we've got a quarterback camp that we do here in June 12th. It's just a quarterback camp, and a great way for us to look at some of the area talent. We'll have guys from all over, from Minnesota, Iowa, Wisconsin, Nebraska, Colorado. I mean, get a lot of different kids that have an opportunity to, one, get better, but two, have an opportunity to really showcase their abilities. And we've signed quarterbacks over the last several years that have attended that quarterback camp with Charlie Kern and Steeman and those guys, and so I think it's an important piece. And then we get into our individual camp and team camp in July, and another great way for us to take a look at a lot of kids, in a short period of time, and it's an important time of year for those kids to get themselves out there, especially those upcoming seniors.
All right, Coach, congrats on a great spring season, and have a good summer, and get back at it in early August.
All right, thanks, Kelly.